from years ago when it had meat on the bone. I'm taking the meat and put it back in. And so Launchpad is something that I'm putting together for each class. So for each class, will have the video, and this is all going to go onto Digital Chalk, our learning platform. It'll have a student manual for each of the courses. It'll also have homework. It'll also have a quiz, and the quiz will be up. You know how I've been posting a quiz on the Facebook page? Well, that's going to be in Digital Chalk for you to take. And it'll automatically grade it. And it'll only be 5 question. It's just to see what did you comprehend, right? So that's what I'm working on. And so the last week or so, I've been working on different AI programs that will take my content and put it into a PowerPoint. And I found a couple and I thought, dang, I got this. You just upload your document and it takes all that content. Well, here's the problem. It put it into a PowerPoint, but it changed the tenor and tone and it took some stuff out and I couldn't edit it. If you've done AI, you know that you can usually go back and say, change this, change that, or tweak this, make it sound more like this, or take this out, or what have you. I couldn't do any of that. And it wasn't the language of the PowerPoint. It wasn't bullet points. It was like these, I can't get it to do it. Thank you though. Thank you both for doing that. So I'm still doing that. So last night or yesterday, I put this one into a Google presentation. So bear with me while I'm still finding what's going to be the best vehicle to do this, but let's get going on open houses. So how many of you have actually held a house open before? Raise your hand. And let me see who's online. Okay, so the majority of us. Okay. If you haven't, I'm gonna highly recommend you get out there and do open houses. It's one of the easiest ways for you to start feeling like a real estate agent. It's one of the easiest ways for you to connect with people and start honing your skills. So why do we hold houses open? Okay, let's just do a reality check. Less than 1% of the homes sell directly from an open house. Now, you might think, well, then why would I be doing one? Aren't I supposed to be doing the open house to sell the house? Partially. Why do we really do them? And it's right up there. To get business. Is to get buyers and sellers. Or twofers, buy and sell in one household. That's even sweeter. So this is a way for you to lead generate, and it's one of the best and most effective ways when you're brand new, because it doesn't take a lot of skill to do them. It doesn't, let's be honest. Now, you can do them, but then to start converting people, that does take skill. That will take practice to be able to convert. Statistics matter. Nearly 45% of buyers use open houses as part of their home search. Here's how it usually works. People first go online and look at houses, right? When they're thinking about buying a house. Because this is the safest environment. There's no agent, nobody bugging you, nobody chasing you, nobody, right? But then you get to a point that you want to go see something real in person. And the next safest step is going to an open house. Because you can go to an open house without now an agent's going to be there, right? But that's the second step that usually happens for most buyers. So don't you want to be in front of them when they're doing them? Right? And the reason we do it is we're looking for unattached buyers and sellers. You can meet future sellers. Many neighbors visit out of curiosity and could be thinking of selling. Please, please don't listen to other agents when they say, I don't do open houses. It's just a bunch of nosy neighbors. Actually, I want every single one of those nosy neighbors. Here's the thing. They're never going to come right in that door and say to you, I want to sell my house. It's not going to come out of their mouth immediately. They're gonna come in that house to see how their house compares to their neighbor's house. They're gonna come into that house to see if they think they could get that price for their house before they're ever gonna say anything to you. So you want the neighbors, and also you want nosy neighbors because they can tell you who else in the neighborhood might need to sell their house. My husband is like a professional at this. He can find the nosy neighbors, the mail carrier, anybody who knows that neighbor, dog walkers, people walking their dogs. He'll talk to all those people because they're out and about in the neighborhood. They know what's going on. And neighbors love to tell you their neighbor's business, most of them. You'll be shocked. You'll be like, wow, okay. Or who they want to move, like their messy neighbor next door, who has the junker in the driveway, or the dogs, or the loud music and the whatever it is. They love to tell you those things. And then you have to think long term. Every open house is a chance to build relationships and credibility in a community. It's fine tuning your skills of how do you have conversations with strangers and turn them into relationships. Be ready that not everybody coming through that door is going to be your client right now. Some are just testing the water and just starting to maybe think about buying a house. But you want to be part of that journey, and the sooner you can connect with them before they get attached, the better. Does that make sense? So planning for an open house. There are 3 phases to the success of that open house. And each is very important. If you slack on any of these, then you probably won't get the return out of that activity that you're hoping. You can't expect to have a super successful open house if you do no prep and no promotion, except just pointer signs in the yard. You're just going for the lucky factor. This is something that you have to have a plan and a process that you execute to have high success. So the preparation, choose the right property and market it effectively. We'll go more into this. Hosting, create a welcoming environment and engage all your visitors. Follow-up, convert visitors into clients with smart follow-up strategies. So you need to be thinking of, don't view an open house as just a task. Treat them as a business building event. Well, I will tell you what changed my mindset. Okay, so transparency here. I get my real estate license. I leave the corporate world, or the corporate world left me because my whole department got downsized. I'd gotten my license 3 months prior, but I was scared to death to pull the trigger because there's a paycheck versus who knows when there's a paycheck, right? Right? And so I got like slammed out of the nest. And I said, oh, I guess I start going now. And I had to hit the ground running really, really, really fast. And my first couple of open houses, I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this. My family, my kid and my husband at the time, they were out having fun, sending me pictures of flying kites, and I was sitting in an open house. I had to have an attitude adjustment because I soon got my very first, well, at my first open house, I got my very first buyer. I had 3 good leads, and one turned out to be my first buyer. And she never knew, even to this day, we're still Facebook friends. She doesn't live in Kansas City. I never confessed that she was my first. And that's lovely because you get, I wish upon you all that your first buyer is a first-time home buyer because they won't know what you don't know. They won't. And it's lovely. And I made some mistakes. So the goal is not just selling a house, but creating future business. I also want to plant the seed with you if you're a listing agent. Please, please, please. You should look at every listing as an opportunity to get business too, because those are magnets for buyers. So if you're the listing agent who gets contracts, go under contract and then shut down the open houses, you have cut off any business opportunity from that listing. And every listing should get you 1 to 2 pieces of business because it attracted people to it. From a sign call, from an open house, from an internet lead. It should always get you more business with a listing. But when listing agents think, oh God, that was so easy, and yeah, they don't have the conversation with their seller saying, you know what, my job is to make sure we have a backup plan. And we don't have a backup offer yet. And without a backup offer, 2 months ago, was it, that 17 to 18% of all under contracts were falling out and canceling? So a backup offer is your insurance. And so I would want to say to my seller, I want that opportunity. And I think an open house is a great idea, even if we are negotiating and going under contract. I want that, and you want that opportunity. So it's not just being purely selfish, you're actually doing it to see if you can get that backup offer for that listing to have a backup plan. Because can I tell you, there's nothing more painful many times than having a contract fall apart. You've been on the market 10 more days because of inspections or whatever, and it falls apart, and you have to go on back on the market. You're most likely never going to get that offer again. It's not going to come. You're out of the honeymoon. People think something's wrong. Why'd that buy? You know, you see in there, due to no fault of the seller. Do you think any buyer believes that? They don't. They don't. Sure. So.
Back to that.
Mhm.
Something that is kept me behind, even before I was a realtor, is like when the agent doesn't switch the just listed to pending. And there is this one home that I held open, and I knew they got a contract like hours later. I mean, they went under contract,
Mhm.
and it still says just listed, and it's like this major thoroughfare, like for
That's-
commuters, and I'm just thinking.
Is
no,
the sign say that, or did MLS say that?
sign still says just listing.
But MLS says pending?
Yes.
Okay, so, yeah.
Oh, yeah, and I know change it and everything, and I'm like, there's so much traffic on the streets and stuff.
You know why they're doing that is so that they can get leads off of that.
Do you think the leads would come from pending? Because it's like, oh my gosh, it's already pending, like I want.
Not necessarily, not for buyers who are just going by and thinking it's still available. That's the reason they did that. I don't think it's good business practice.
I thought it would be other like, oh, look, that buyer or that agent is so good, it's sold on a busy street quickly.
Sometimes you don't want that because remember that just turned off the opportunity
Interesting.
that buyers may not. Now, a seller might be like, wow, they did that fast. Yeah.
It's still maybe generating.
It could be. Now, know that the reason I was asking the difference, was it the sign or MLS? Because you are required to change the status of MLS, and if MLS finds differently, it will fine you. It has no trouble fining you if you do not do your, like, the thing that happens the most is changing the status to sold, because you get so psyched about the closing and everything. The last thing you think about is changing the status in MLS, and you have 10 days to do that. And many agents forget to do it. And they're like, oh, bang, and then bam, there's like a little trigger in MLS. Oh, they put in the close date. Oh, but that's not, that was 15 days ago, not 10 days ago. Oh, fine for you. And you can plead your case with MLS. They don't care if you're sick. They don't care if you were on vacation. You're a business person. So you should have gotten it done. So don't be thinking, or my car broke down or whatever. They will have none of it. None of it. And I hear the excuses all the time. But that's, yeah, so there's different. Mhm. Now, to be legit, I just wouldn't even had it just listed if, yeah, yeah. And again, you've got to decide the strategy what you want to go with that listing of whether you want to brag to the neighbors that it went under contract quickly, or do you want the opportunity to attract some more buyers possibly? So key steps to choosing the right home. You all see agents posting their listings on our Facebook page, right? Great, wonderful. And many of you jump on that, and I'm not discouraging it, however, I want you to get to where you're pickier. I want you to think about location matters. You pick up an open house because an agent posted it and it's not an area that gets much traffic or a price point or what have you, then you've probably wasted your time. So you really need to, now in the beginning, take anything and everything just so you can start building that craft, but if nobody comes, that doesn't help you, does it? So you should never, I'm gonna be really honest with you, you should never, ever have a house that nobody comes to your open house. Because that tells me you didn't pick the right house, you didn't promote it enough, you didn't do what you should have done. Now, sometimes it will be your own listing and it will be hard to get people there. I get it. But majority of the time, you should never, ever have an open house that nobody came to. Because it tells me something. Now, in the beginning, again, you're gonna make mistakes, you're gonna jump on houses, and that's okay. But I want you to think about getting more selective, looking at the houses. So ideally, you should want to select the property 5 to 7 days. That depends on the market. That might be a luxury. You saw what I posted when Amy said last weekend, one of her open houses was canceled. Well, then don't say, oh, I have no open house. Make that into lemonade. Find out from the listing agent, did you get multiple offers? And even if they didn't, you take that flyer, run it back through the printer and say, under contract. And maybe something else that said, other buyers are still wanting to move into your neighborhood. Who do you know? It is a more powerful story and door knock with that flyer than just inviting them to an open house. Does that make sense? So I also don't want to hear, oh, I don't have an open house there. Yeah, you have an opportunity if you choose to use that to make that into lemonade. And possibly to get more traction than you would have if you'd hosted that open house. So don't let opportunities go by just because one opportunity is now not possible. Usually you can turn it into something else. Choose high demand areas and price points. Remember what I posted a couple of weeks ago, that home sales trend report from MLS? Okay, it's on our Facebook. I see a questioning look. It's on our Facebook, launch Facebook page. It is a report from MLS. If you go to the tab, I think it's reports, click on market reports, and then click on the home sale trend report. It does it by county. And then it gives you, it's nothing fancy, then it gives you a sheet of all the different price points and how many houses have sold in that price point. What do you think you should do with that information for open houses?
Jump on one that sold the most, price point.
Look at the price point that's had the most sales, because that is an indicator of the size of the buyer pool. So go where the people have been, where the buyers have been going. That's another way for you to decide what houses you're going to hold open. And if it's in a price point that only 2 houses have sold, why are you going there? Unless it's your own listing, I get that. But why are you going there? Why would we do that? Lovely music. Well, mood music. So make sure you're being particular. Target newly reduced listings. If you can't get a listing that's new to the market, because that's ideal. Cause the buyers still wanna see it, cause it's new. It's like the new girl at school, everybody checks them out, new kid at school, right? They do. Ooh, who's that? Where'd they come from? Right? That's what they're doing with new listings. If not, then target one that is newly reduced. Even if it's been on the market for a while. Maybe it's been on the market 60 days, 90 days, but it just had a significant price drop. Then it's now under, probably in front of a new pool of buyers. They haven't seen this house. Remember, buyers are not on any search app or MLS looking at all the houses for sale. They're looking at the houses in their price point, right, in a range. So if this house was 15,000 more, they weren't even probably seeing that house at all. And then it becomes new to them. So a price reduction, that's great. Listing photos. I want one with really good listing pictures. Is how do buyers and buyers agents first shop for homes for sale? Where are they looking first? Online. And if your pictures suck, if you want to get Kristen riled up, you take a listing and you put bad pictures up and we will be checking.
The one that we held open this Sunday, there was somebody who came through, and was like, oh, it looks so much better in person than the photos. Now, the photos were still, professional, it just, that house had some dated, like, paint and wallpaper. So you really just needed to experience the home itself.
Yep.
So it actually was better in person, even though they were still great photos.
Yeah, sometimes that happens, or the angles
like-
are maybe not the best.
People.
Exactly, definitely.
It was like, they had this 2 acres, this beautiful backyard, and it was like magic hour, so it was just golden and beautiful, and like everyone that walked through, it was like, it's so much better.
Yeah.
Mm.
Almost
Yeah.
like if you. Today, I could like not post photos inside. Like, oh, I'm still getting those uploaded to like generate people.
I will tell you what most agents will think. What's wrong with it? Yeah, usually the dumps are the ones that don't have, and
There's a reason you're not out.
yeah.
Show your hands.
Something that we kind of learned across the district, so much like the CRAR stuff.
Uh-huh.
Like with the virtual staging and everything, it might not match up to what the MLS states, because they said that someone added an extra bathroom
Oh, yeah.
and everything, and like a fully furnished basement in the virtual staging, and it would have shown like an MLS, like, it says 3 bathrooms, and what's that? Like, why is there a 4th one right there?
You have to be careful with virtual staging is lovely, but you should have a picture of either you should lead with the empty room and then the staging room, they should be like right next to each other, so someone could see what it looks like empty too. So when they walk into the house, they're not like,
Yeah.
now, people can move. Sometimes you have taken the pictures with actual furniture and the sellers have already moved. So that can happen. But yes, and you have to also be careful in knowing that the MLS or the tax records are not going to reflect if someone had finished their basement or added another bathroom and they didn't pull a permit. The county has no idea. The county has no idea. That's why tax record square footage are quite often wrong. And don't get your panties in a bind that they didn't pull permits. It is very common. Is it good practice? No. But it's very, very common. And that's why your buyer does inspections to make sure what they did was done correctly.
Could it be a type of red flag if you're looking at listing photos, if they only have virtually staged?
Nope, that just tells me they wanted it because most buyers cannot visually imagine furniture in a room. A blank room literally stymies so many people, so many buyers. They're like, where would I put my cell phone? Where would I put, how do I use this room? What is this room? So virtual staging can help them help their imagination.
But you would recommend having the blank room? and-
You have to. That's being transparent.
Plus it has a bigger wow factor too, because I see it like was, but I'm like, see it like. that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
But, okay.
Build relationships. Now, here's where I will tell you, if an agent offers you a listing that doesn't check all the boxes of a great open house, the location, the price point, what have you, do it. Because you want to build a relationship and get goodwill with that agent, so that when they do have a nice listing that you're dying to hold open, you may be the one that they let do that, okay? So please don't ever say, Kristen, it doesn't fit Kristen's criteria of a perfect open house because I can't do it. Because it happened once. I had a new agent, bless their little soul. Bless their little heart. They went and told the listing agent, oh no, this doesn't meet the criteria Kristen said in choosing an open house. And that agent came to me and shared. And I was like, okay. Do it. The relationship is equally as important. Especially when you're new. Shop office listings. So be proactive. Like I was saying, you can go on Facebook, but go into our inventory on MLS and shop our active listings here, and you go ask agents, could you hold their listings open? That's what I did. Yeah, and most of them are tickled. So weekend, they didn't have to hold it open to keep their sellers happy. And remember, some of the experienced agents, you know why they're not so keen on doing open houses? Because their business is referral only. They don't have to go and try to get strangers to build a business. So for them, it's not a build. Yeah, they could maybe get a good lead, but it is not one of their lead gen strategies for their business. So they do it mostly to placate the seller. So if a new agent says yes, they're like, yeah, it's fine with me. Preparation, tour the home beforehand and research at least 3 to 5 comparable listings. And if you can, if they're active listings, then go see them, preview them. How can you sound like a market expert if you don't go see what else is out there? I know. You can go on MLS, but what did we just say about the pictures? Do you want to know more than the consumer knows? You should. And so you should be previewing those homes before you hold them open. I found that that's not been the trend in the last couple of years. And I'm like, wouldn't you want to go see what you're holding open? Also to be able to create your pointer sign strategy. How are you going to get the most people there? Yeah. How are you going to know where to set up? Where's the best place? How are you going to know those things? Understand the local price trends and buyer preferences. Again, that home sales trend report from MLS is very impactful in letting you know where the buyer pool is the biggest and where the most activity is. Review the seller's disclosure. I know usually a new agent is so worried about people asking questions. Almost 80% of the questions they're going to ask you have to do with the condition of the house or the system or what have you. It's in the seller's disclosure. Do not assume that it's in the property. Don't. You should be printing it up yourself and making sure you have a copy and you've gone over it. And you know it. And then walk around the house so you know where's the water heater? Where's the furnace? Where are those things? Because sometimes in some houses, those could be in a closet and not in a basement. You don't know. Marketing strategies, door knocking. Personally invite 20 to 100 of the neighbors. Remember, we want neighbors. We want neighbors. You've got to create your own traffic. Just don't wait for the lucky factor for traffic. Email blasts. Let your database know about the open house. You know what? That you don't know. You may say, none of my friends would be interested in this house. But your friends or family know other people who might have a home buying need. So you don't make decisions for other people. And if I was brand new, I'd be saying, hey, I'm holding open house. Just come by. I'd love to have your company. Because what you also want is you want other people seeing you in the role of being an agent so that it feels and looks real. Because otherwise, when you're new, you're telling people you're an agent, but they may not feel that it's real yet. So invite people to come see you. Social media, create a Facebook event, share a video, store on Instagram stories, post a teaser leading to the event. Signage strategy, place directional signs and balloons for visibility, partner with a lender, offer on-site mortgage pre-qualification or additional information. Creating a great visitor experience, day of the open house, arrive at least 15 to 30 minutes early, check with the listing agent and let them know when you will be coming. Do not be late. Sellers are watching, either on their Ring doorbell. They'll know if you're late, coming in like a Tasmanian devil. Turn on all the lights, open the blinds, bring your own music, bring a boom, whatever. Make it inviting. When my mindset changed when I decided I'm going to treat this like having people over to my house. I am hosting an event. And the minute I did that, I wanted it to be fun and memorable when they came in the door. So I was always looking for things that would set me apart and always having music. There's nothing worse than people walking through a house that's stone silent. And they're like, because they're scared, you know, they don't want you to hear what they're talking about. Welcoming the visitors, greet each visitor with a warm, friendly introduction. Use a sign-in sheet or digital form to collect contact information. I would do both. I would do both. I wouldn't just use one way to capture their contact information. I'd have a QR code. I'd have a physical sign-in sheet. I would have at least 2 different ways. Give guests a space to explore, but be available for questions. Conversations that convert. Are you looking, this is the most magical question script that I've ever come across, and it's from Chris Suarez, who is a mega agent in Keller Williams, and he built a $30 million business by doing open houses 5 days a week. He moved from the East Coast after an ugly divorce to the West Coast where he knew no one. He said, how am I going to get traction in this new city? And he did it by doing open houses. 5 a week, at least. And here's the magic question. Are you looking to buy a new home or do you live in the neighborhood? Then I know where we're going with our conversation. I don't have to be guessing. Are you a buyer? Are you a seller? You're looking for the hints. Then for buyers, how long have you been looking? This is when you go more in depth. Are you currently working with an agent? I kind of go around on that question. I kind of say, if they say they've been looking for a long time, like, oh, we've been looking for 6 months. And I say, you must be working with an agent. When I say kind of, I'll say, oh, in this market, have you written any offers? I say, oh yeah, we've lost 3 offers. How long ago was the last offer you wrote? You see where I'm going with this? I'm trying to find out, are they currently really working with an agent? Because the public will downplay them working with another agent. To them, that means I've had it where somebody says, no, I've been working with an agent, and I find out, yes, they have, and that other agent showed them 50 houses and wrote 3 offers. That was their idea of not really working with an agent? What? Like saying I was kind of married?
I think that said Zillow for the sign.
Yeah, that's another way.
Other people, like, this open house, they're like, oh, my agent sent it to me, or, oh, I saw it on.
I find when you use this question, this is the reason I used it, because many agents do, but I find that they go on the defense if I straight out. So I try to backdoor it and come around it different ways. Tatum.
Which there was. That was like a red flag, and we were like, we know you already have an agent, but here's what the resources that's how I worded out.
Yeah.
Resources and gave both of our cards.
Well, and maybe we're looking for a new agent, you know, we're trying to kind of different.
And they might have been hit and miss over the 4 years and not
Yeah.
consistent, so we don't know, asking more questions.
They seem to really.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that could be a red flag that, no, you do not want them. Leave them be. I know, yeah. Have you spoken with a lender yet? For neighbors, how long have you lived in the neighborhood? I'm gonna say, so that I can share with others. Other buyers, potential buyers, what do you love about this neighborhood? I wanna know that. What do you love most about this area? Again, I'm gonna say, so that I can share to potential buyers, what is it that's so great about this neighborhood? And have you ever considered selling your home? You've lived here a long time. Added value strategies, share recent market stats about that area, offer to send them a list of homes similar to what they're looking for. Provide a mortgage contact for a quick pre-approval. Yep, went the wrong direction. Okay, we're not gonna do the activity, but I have in here, and you'll see this when I post it, buyer objections. Here's a common one. I don't want to sign in. I totally understand. So here's some scripts that you could use. Because it is okay for the seller to require knowing who comes in their home. That's reasonable. You have strangers coming in your house, opening cabinets and looking in every nook and cranny of your home. They have a right to know who's in there. Don't feel like you can't ask that. If they get bent out of shape, then that's their issue. You doing the right thing is not. I'm just looking. That's great. A lot of buyers start this way. Again, knowing what to say so that it automatically comes out of your mouth just like that, so you're not fumbling, makes you sound experienced and as a professional. I already have an agent. That's great. Are you working with them exclusively? Now, so I would have said, have they written any offers for you? Because most people don't know if they've signed a buyer's agency. They don't. They don't. If you say, have you signed an exclusive buyer agency contract? And they'll be like, no. Well, if they wrote offers, you did. But they don't know. They don't know what those documents are called. They don't. We're just neighbors, not looking to buy. It's wonderful. How long have you been here? Community insights. Have you ever thought of selling your home? The market is strong now. I'd love to keep you updated on home values. That's a piece of that's value. Same day, your follow-up is critical, critical. Do not wait until, if you do a Sunday open house, do not wait until Monday to follow up with these leads. You know how I won a lot of leads on open houses is because I'd be the first agent to get back to them. I learned that the speed to the lead was the name of the game. And I would have someone say to me, well, I did talk to another agent, another open house, because they're going to probably go to more than one open house. And she was going to set me up on this search. And I haven't heard from her. I said, I can do that in 5 minutes. Tell me what you want. That's how I would get people. Next day, you should be continuing the conversation, sending a handwritten note, because if you got their home address, that can be very impactful. Nice touch. Long term, you need to be touching them 8 times in the next 2 weeks. Call, email, text, call, email, text. Maybe a DM on social media. You've got to be consistent because they live busy lives. And don't get in your head. Boost your attendance. Go to town with those pointer signs. Actually, go buy some. We sell them here, or you can get them unbranded ones. Buy a lot of them. Don't just put one on the corner, put 3 on a corner. You got to make it look like something is happening. Use balloons. I love and hate balloons. Some of you have heard me say that It says now, but wrestling and handling balloons is a pain in the tush, but it does work. If you can do something that says now to people driving by, invite the neighbors. Have a giveaway or a drawing. You don't have to, and it doesn't have to be anything expensive. People will sign up for little tiny things that are free. Okay. So your homework's gonna be posting a video. So I've got social media content on here. So let me go to different types that you can do. I've got several different scenarios. So even if you don't have an open house scheduled for this weekend, I want you to pick a house and do a 30 to 60-minute video and post it on our Facebook page. I'll have yes, that's a minute. Sorry. Thank you. Now that tells me where those looks came from. So even if you don't have an open house schedule, then I'll have a post of the homework and just post your clip right there. And be kind to each other and encouraging, and don't worry if it's goofy. That's practice. But if you do have an open house for this weekend, again, I'll have some ideas for you, what this could look like, some other social media posts. But that's what I want you doing. That sound good? Okay, all right, you guys. We got to get ready for the business meeting that is coming up next. And we've got a great guest speaker. So I'm gonna, if you're on Zoom right now, we're gonna say adios. And see you guys later.